Hello world and welcome back to another tutorial in Astral Sorcery, where today we're going to be going through the Attunement section of the Astral Tome. Now first up, I would just like to say once again, if this tutorial helps you out in any way, shape or form, please could you leave a like and subscribe, it really helps me out. And join the Discord, I'll leave a link down to that in the description. So, as I said, we are going to be going through the Attunement section of the book. If you did not watch the first tutorial, I highly recommend go checking it out, or leave a card up in the corner here which will go all through discovery and exploration. But we are now on Attunement, where there is a lot to cover, as you can see, a lot to cover. And one of the first things we should really cover is some of these things that are just around the edge, such as the telescope. Now, the telescope is done inside our starlight crafting altar. We finished creating that in the previous tutorial, as that's what you need in order to actually create, or unlock rather, the Attunement section of the book. It's using the old looking glass that we crafted in the previous tutorial, and then you need 3 sticks, 2 gold and 1 plank inside the starlight crafting altar, and that will give you the telescope. Now, the telescope, unlike the looking glass where you right click in the sky and you can start looking around, you place this on the ground and it puts it to a specific orientation. Now, again, just like the looking glass, you must have view of the sky. You can't have this blocked off, otherwise it will not work. And when you right click on it, you see that you get given this one frame. Now what this does is, instead of looking around with the looking glass and maybe not being so accurate, this will show us specific portions of the sky in order to find constellations. So there are 8 pages in total. You can flick between them by using these arrows on the left or right. They're a little bit difficult to see, but they are there. You click on them, it will just quickly flick between the others. Now at this stage, you will still only be able to see the first 5 basic constellations inside of the looking glass, or inside of the telescope. Now I've gone ahead and found all the basic ones, so I think this one is maybe a Versio or something, I don't 100% remember. It's exactly the same as the looking glass. You hold down shift and you can start drawing lines, and you need to connect the dots of all these bigger stars that are flashing and glowing. And that's pretty much all the looking glass does. It's just an easier way of finding constellations, since you're still at this basic level within inside the game. So let's actually start working our way through this line here, starting off with a bit of transmutation. Now you have to transmutate blocks using starlight. So transmutation is going to be essentially the same of how we first created the luminescence crafting table, with having this collector crystal actually help us transmute blocks. But what if we want to move that light outside of the temple and actually use it in our base? Move it around a little bit? Well, we can now do that. That is by using these crystal lenses, again made in the starlight crafting altar. It's going to require 2 aquamarine, 3 glass lenses, a rock crystal, 2 engraved infused wood, 1 gold ingot, and then on the corners here you need some runed marble. Inside it's going to look like this, and you actually get 5 of these in total with each craft. Now with these, it doesn't work just like when you place it on a crafting table next to the collector crystal. It doesn't just start automatically transferring to it. What you need to do is direct that light towards the lens, and you do that by creating the linking tool. Now this requires 1 or 2 logs, in the corners, 4 sticks, a rock crystal and 2 aquamarine, just looking like this inside of the starlight's altar, and that will give you the linking tool. So how does the linking tool work? Well, I've quickly set up just a quick thing here to note. The crystal lens, is essentially a way of magnifying the range that the star collector crystal can actually go to. So at the moment, I've preset this up. We've got the collector crystal here, and 16 blocks up, I have a lens. So that is the maximum range that the crystals and the lenses can actually send light. 16 blocks, or a chunk if you're doing it horizontally, which is the main thing. So if we wanted to start doing our starlight out here, it's very, very simple. Something else also to note is that the starlight can phase through glass, which is what we have here. So if I take my little lens here, it can be placed on the walls, it can be placed on the ceiling and also the floor. It's very, very versatile. And what you do is you get the linking tool. When you hold the linking tool in your hand, you can right click on an item. It says, oh, you've selected this item, and then you can link to something else. something to note, if you're wanting to send this starlight somewhere, you have to start from the source, meaning start from the collector crystal. So that's why this did not connect. So if you have to deselect the item, so stop linking, then reselect the item, bringing the linking tool up, and then start with the collector crystal. It says the collector crystal has been selected. Then we want to click on this lens, and now that light is being shined towards this lens. It will do it in phases, like these little streams of light you can see. It will eventually do a light stream here. But then, there you go, there it goes. But then you want to move it on again. So if we go over here this time, we now have to start again from the source. So we want to go from deselect and then reselect the linking tool, right click and then right click on the new one. And this one's actually changed directions now, which shows that it has been linked and it's now sending over here. So you can continuously do this. I don't know if there is a maximum distance you can send lights, but I really don't think there is. See, that has now changed. And now we've got this here. So now our light's outside. We can now send this light anywhere we want. And it even works the same now, I believe, where you can just place this down and it should just start working. Never mind, it doesn't seem to be the case where it just starts working similar with the collector crystal, but to make the luminous crafting table, as we know, you send starlight into the crafting table. So if we deselect and reselect the linking tool again, right click on this, then the crafting table, it focuses on here, you can see, and it starts changing. Very, very simple stuff. Now, when you do actually break this block, this square, now it's just an air block, is still having light power to it, as you can see here. And now this is where we can start transmuting other blocks. There are a series of blocks which you can actually transmute. We have 6 in total. So we'll demonstrate each one of these. Let's just get enough space on the inventory here and get each one. We can get all the basic necessary resources for the mod. So you can get sand. It will simply turn into clay. Now this can be done in it can take a long time sometimes. Depending on what you're transmuting, it can take a bit of a while, but as you can see, sand's turned to clay. You can turn diamonds into emeralds. There we go, finally it's turned into emeralds. You can turn pumpkins into cake. Lovely bit of cake there, looks like strawberry flavour. You can turn sea lanterns into solid blocks of lapis lazuli. Well, that was a bit of a quick one. Sandstone into endstone, so if you don't want to go to the end, but maybe you're playing a mod pack where endstone's required for a craft, this is a very good early game way of actually getting it. Lovely stuff, there's the insert. And the last thing, which is most important into this mod, is turning iron ore into star metal ore. Now, star metal ore is another ore type added by Astral Sorcery, but it doesn't spawn naturally in the world. It can only be transmutated. Now, when you break it, you will just get the star metal ore, and this just has to be smelted in a furnace, just like you do with regular ores, in order to create star metal ingots. So now we have our star metal ingots in our hand. This is what they look like on the floor, nice and shiny. We can move further into our astral tome now. Now, we are going to be going towards this way, where we're going to be going towards our celestial altar. We will not be actually going over attunements and rituals today, as that will be all in one video when we have all the constellations unlocked. At the moment, we only have the 5 basics, so I'm not going to be showing that all in this tutorial. But the first thing that we're going to be wanting to make with our star metal ingots is the star metal cutting tool. Now, star metal cutting tool was done again in the starlight crafting altar. It uses 1 star metal ingot, 3 gold nuggets, 2 infused wood planks, and that will get us our cutting tool. Now this is where things start really branching out. Before, there used to be a grindstone in Astral Sorcery, but now it's used by the cutting tool. Now, the cutting tool can be used in a couple of different ways, one of which is changing star metal ingots into star metal dust, or star dust. If you place this on the floor, just throw it on the ground, hold this in your hand, and you have to left click on the floating item. So if you left click there, it might take a couple of times, but eventually it will turn into star metal dust. There we go. Now we have star metal dust. It's another type of ingredient used in crafting recipes. But something else it can also do. We spoke about this a little bit in the previous tutorial about how rock crystals have different properties. And you will actually start to notice that there are new properties available now that you've unlocked the attunement section. We have ritual effects, collection rate. We also have ritual range and focus. Now the focus can be focused towards a specific constellation. So this one says Decidia, others say, like this one say Vitus, and you can even get one. See, this one says something seems to be here, but understanding is not yet revealed. That's because it's most likely focused towards a constellation that we have not yet discovered. We're still too early on inside of this mod in order to actually see what this is. But now that we have the cutting tool, we can start splitting these rock crystals. So if I get a size 1 purity 1 rock crystal, what we can do is throw this on the ground, take our cutting tool, left click on it again, it might take a couple of attempts, and you see that it splits in two. And now what we have is a size 1 purity 1 rock crystals. Now this is how things get really interesting. You can now start creating your own variations of rock crystals. So using the light well and creating star metal buckets or starlight buckets, we went through this a little bit before. You place some aquamarine or a rock crystal or even a star metal ingot onto the light well and start creating starlight, which you can then collect in a bucket or pump out using a mod if you have something like that. And when you place this bucket on the ground, you'll see you just have a pool of starlight, easy as can be. But now if we take our Purity 1 Rock Crystal 1 and throw them into the pool, they'll start merging together. They'll use the starlight to sort of glue themselves together. And this is how you start creating rock crystals yourself. So it'll take a little bit of time. It varies depending on what you're putting in. But eventually this starlight will be used up. So you will want to have a pool of starlight being made from various light wells. And there you go, it's popped together. And now we have a size 1 Purity 1 rock crystal, and this is where we go back to creating our tools. So we explained how tools work a little bit in the first tutorial, how basically you can stack up your different utilities or your different purities or sizes and stuff in order to create tools, but we didn't go over it too in depth as we didn't have this ability to crack our rock crystals down. So let's recover it again, but this time go in a little bit more in depth. So the main thing to note is that depending on the tool, that's going to depend on how many rock crystals you actually use. So obviously with a shovel, you would use just 1 rock crystal. Pickaxe or an axe, you would use 3, and for say a sword or a hoe, you would use 2. Now these different properties here, they can stack. So if we were using 2 of these rock crystals here, we have size 2, shape 2, tool durability 1, and tool efficiency 2. So if we were to make a shovel using this, we would get all these effects, easy enough. But if we were using 2 of these rock crystals that are exactly the same, we'd end up getting a size 4, shape 4, tool durability 2, and tool efficiency 2. Now when making rock crystals, this is a maxed out rock crystal here. Now I said in the previous tutorial they could have up to 8, that is what I found online, but through with my own testing, I've seen that rock crystals can only have a maximum property of 7, which means here 2 size, 2 shape, 2 efficiency, and 1 durability equals 7 different properties in total. And that is how you can get your maximum amounts of properties on your tools. Now, you might be using rock crystals, say like this one that has size 1 purity 1. Now when it comes to tools, purity isn't used. So if you were to put this rock crystal, you would only have a size 1, say shovel, as purity is not used in tool making. Same goes with, range, ritual range, or collection rate, ritual effect. None of those are actually used in tools, so they'll be wiped away, which is why you want to split and create rock crystals that are attuned to these specific properties, being size, shape, durability, and efficiency. Now, size and durability, they're pretty much the same thing. They do stack on top of each other. Size only goes to a maximum of 3 per crystal. Tool durability also goes up to a maximum of 3 per crystal. But if you had a size 3 and a tool durability 3, that would almost be like having a size 6 or a tool durability 6. And all it does is how much durability your tools have. So here you see that I've got a size 4 tool durability 2 on this sword, and I've got a durability of 38,861. And this is about the maximum you could do. You can spawn in things in creative that are higher, like you could have them all at a 9 level, if you wanted to, but that's how that works. Same goes with the crystal here. We've got a size 2 tool durability 1, which gives us 26,000, and here we have a size 6 and a tool durability 4, which gives us 61,000. But if you wanted something that lasted a long time, then you would just get rid of shape and tool efficiency, and that would give you obviously a much more durability in size. But now tool efficiency. With tools that break blocks, such as the shovel, a axe, or a crystal pickaxe, that is going to be the speed of mining. However, when you have efficiency and shape for a sword, it's actually going to be damage, not how fast it is. So you see here we have a tool efficiency 4 and shape 4, and that gives us a damage of 8.84 with still only attack speed of 1.6, which is still pretty good. And that's just about all of it when it comes to the rock crystals and how to craft your own tools at this level. Later on we will be covering the other new properties that are available. Obviously ritual effect and ritual reigns are for rituals themselves. We'll have purity and collection rates, that's for using in collector crystals, which is very similar to what we have inside this temple here. This here is a collector crystal, and eventually we will be able to make our own, which is where collection rate and purity come in. Size and shape do come into it a little bit as well, but these are very important prospects or properties that are needed. And then constellation focus, I'll explain what that is very briefly. Basically, when a rock crystal property has the focus of a specific constellation, what that means is if that constellation's in the sky, say that one over here or that one over there, there'll be extra bonuses at that particular nighttime. So depending on what you have, you'll have, as the nights and days go on, sometimes it'll be stronger, sometimes it'll be a little bit weaker. But we'll be covering all that side of things later on. But moving on, let's now actually use a bit of this Stardust. Now this is probably one of my favourite tools in all of Astral Sorcery, and it's all about traversing and transportation. We're going to now be making the Celestial Gateway. Now Celestial Gateway uses this nocturnal powder, we covered that a little bit previously, and also needs 3 star dust, 2 golds in the corner, 2 lenses or rock crystal, and 2 runed marble inside here, and you will get what you need. So how does this Celestial Gateway work? Well, for one, you're going to need 2 of them, because you cannot transport to one without having another. However, they don't just work on their own. They have to have a little bit of a platform underneath them, as you can see here. It's a 7x7x2 platform. You can see if you hover over in the star in the top, it'll tell you all the resources you have. And again, in the book, you can do it by Y level. But since it's only a 2x7 or 2x whatever you want to call it, it's too high. That's it. It's probably a little bit simple. So I have previously set one up just around the corner here, and you can see that when it's actually finished crafting and made correctly, you'll see these sparkles and twinkles working around here. Now, how this works, once you have the first one set up, not too much is going to happen. When you go inside, you'll start seeing that this black sphere comes around, but you won't see any of these gold dots. These gold dots are actually already other star points or celestial gateways that I have previously created. So when you're in here, something to note is make sure that you are safe. I'm playing in peaceful, so I've got nothing to worry about, but you cannot see any mobs that are coming towards you. Now, the celestial gateway must have direct view of the sky in order for this to work, but that does mean that you can just have, like, say, 1 block above. So you see I've placed some blocks down here and it no longer works, but if I wanted to have, say, just the centerpiece open, it does work again. As long as the 1 block has a full view of the sky, you can still make this underground. So things to note about this: there is no cost or anything when you actually use these. It's very, very simple. But as well as using these across one dimension and across in the overworld, you can go to multiple places. So I can't see which one is going to be which. I feel like it's bugged for me, but generally I've had where when you place and stand on top of the celestial gateway originally, when you start holding down shift to teleport to a location while looking at these star points, you'll see that a glow portal comes up. Now within that glow portal, usually there's sort of a picture that was automatically taken to show where this portal leads. For some reason for me, it's a little bit bugged and it's not actually taking that picture for me, so there's no way of me knowing, but I promise you that is a thing that is in this mod pack. So let's go through this one and see where it takes us. We're now very far away. Somewhere over there is the point where we were, and we're now on a completely different mountain side. But if we want to go somewhere else, say the Nether, which I think is going to be this one. There we go. We are now in the deepest, darkest Nether, where we actually found a bastion. Very, very close. Again, be very, very, very careful here. Now, obviously, while you're in the Nether, you can't get a direct view of the sky, so this is sort of the exception to the rule. You don't have to have the view of the sky, but I do believe if you were going to go to the end, you have to have direct view of the void above. The same goes for any other sort of planets. If you're playing in a world that has Galacticraft and you're in space on many different planets, or maybe playing something like Abyssal Craft where you're in different dimensions like wastelands and stuff, you do still need a view of the sky. But let's now head back, which I think is this one, to get back to our home. And there we go. We're back to Tutorial Village. So, as I say, we are not going to be covering other things in the attunement section today. We will be going over all attunements and rituals in a later video, as well as all the different wands, as there are more wands later than just these 3 here. But we'll be showing those later on. So let's go to Celestial Altar and unlock the next section of the mod. So, inside the Celestial Altar, to get this inside the starlight crafting altar. To get the Celestial Altar, you need 2 stardust, 1 star metal, a rock crystal, 2 aquamarine, 4 chiseled marble, and 2 marble pillars. Now you do need to have this rather full up. This has had no change from the previous tutorial. We still only have 3 of these astral relays, and as you can see, this isn't completely full but still works. So if we activate this, you'll get our lovely little animation to say that this is evolving, and eventually it will change into the new crafting area. And there we go, your vision is expanded. You now learn more about constellations, and we get a bit of an achievement as well. Now, very similar to the previous time we upgraded this altar, it does not work, as we need to create a more expanded altar around the side of it there, and my phone has just gone off. So here is now the new and improved completed Celestial Altar. I've moved our 3 Celestial Relays here on the side and put 4 on either side here, just so it looks a little bit more symmetrical, a little bit tighter here. And as you can see, at this time of night, it's still very, very full. And the crafting grid, again, has grown even further now. Before it was just a 3x3 with the corners, but now you've got these 2 little extra bits on either side, and it's nearly a full 5x5 crafting grid. And inside the book now, we've unlocked a brand new section. This here is the constellation section, where things are going to get a little bit more hectic. We're going to get more into lenses, some Astral Sorcery enchants, as well as infusing. Infusing is going to be very, very fun, and things are going to get very, very hectic. But that is going to be the end of the tutorial today. If you enjoyed in any way, shape or form, please could you leave a like? It really helps me out. And join me on the Discord. I'll leave a link down to that in the description. And until next time, guys, I'll see you then.